Yes, YouTube, and welcome back to another video from Tim's Rainforest Room. Now, we've had some other YouTuber accusing me of copying them, and we'd just like to say that is just not happening on this channel. So without further ado, let's get on with today's video. So if you were wondering what that intro was all about, I suggest you check out John's Rainforest Room. It's one of the best YouTube channels for this kind of content. Also, the t-shirt I was wearing in that intro is part of his merch, and it looks great. Right, so today's unboxing is for the Swell Premium high pressure rainfall system, which I've got here. It's a big box. Looks pretty well packaged. Out. So that, I think, is the top. Little timer's on. Very well packaged. And that would be the reservoir. Holds a fair bit of water. Got an instruction manual, more foam, two nozzles, but we did order extra nozzles with this. That comes separately. Power supply and quite a lot of tubing to take the water around. That's it. Right, better read the instructions and I'll get back to you. So, in with the nozzles, we've got a stopper which will go on the end of your last nozzle to stop water spraying out of the end. We've got this copper filter head, and that'll go into the reservoir to stop any gunk going up through the motor. That, which is a cutter for the piping. So, instructions say we need 25 to 35 centimeters of piping to go from the motor down into the reservoir. So that's about there. So let's try these cutters, which look like they could be fairly lethal in the wrong hands, and those hands may be mine. Oh, very precise. So this has to go on one end, so I presume it just screws in somehow. If you ever have problems and stuff like this, what I found is if you dip the piping in boiling water, it makes it softer. It would take things on better. So that's your copper filter head fitted to the end of the pipe. So here's the motor for your pump for the top. So if you look in, just here, this will be where that inlet needs to push in. Just push it in. Shouldn't pull out. That's your water inlet fitted. So you can see the tank with the lid. Got the toes on the land. So the lid's aluminium all the way around, with mesh on each side and a sliding perspex door in the middle. So as you can see on the side here, we've already had to file a gap for the lead for the water pump. So we're going to have to do a similar groove in the lid just to allow the pipe work in. To get the nozzles. So here we are, filing away another groove to let the pipe work in. With the hoover and wipe away all the sort of swarf before we put the lid back on. Lid back on, and there you can see the gap ready for the pipe work. Not too shabby. So we had a bit of a break there because we were a bit concerned. These nozzles say they're fully adjustable. So we contacted Swell because we didn't want to force anything. And if you're not a wuss about things like me, you can actually adjust them. So we just wanted to make sure. So we're only doing the 5-bellied toad paludarium because it's the only thing we've got set up with inhabitants currently. So we're going to fit 2 sprayers into there, which you can see in front of you. We want that to be, those two to be 17 centimeters apart. So if we just measure that, and we have the cutting tool, which is very handy but quite terrifying. We should then be able to, if you push down the blue bit, it sort of opens the grip, push that right in, let go, give it a little tug, and it's secure. So do the same for both sides. And that's secure. So they're ready to go into the tank, and then we've just got to cut a length from the reservoir and the pump to these sprayers in the tank. So we're going to try and fit these before we hook it all up. So I want one a little further up this end than the other. So it says smooth, put it on smooth glass. That looks pretty good to me. And the other, try and get it about the same sort of height so it looks tidy-ish. So hopefully that's them installed. So the deliberate mistake, stopper to go in the end, sprayer so it doesn't all just shoot out the end. So hopefully just push him. Well, hopefully that's it. Or it's going to shoot out like a bullet when we set it off. We'll see. Hopefully that's good. Now we need to connect this up. Push it in. This is where T-Rex arms aren't the best thing to have. Push them in. And hopefully we have a connection. I'm starting to get excited now. Okay, so we're connecting to the pump now. Getting to an exciting bit. Oh, I'm terrified of that cut there. Push it, same as all the other connections. And I think that's all the connections made. Look at that. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're just filling up the reservoir. Interestingly on this, you don't need to take the top off. There's a hole just in there, which is quite tricky to see, but you just pour your water into there. You can hear it going down into the container below. So they recommend you use RO or filtered water for this, probably because you'll get deposits from the spray on your glass, and it may clog the nozzles and what have you if you don't use that kind of water. Okay, so now we're going to set up the operation. So the first dial is for your cycle in hours, so that's how frequently you can have the spraying going off. So it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 or 24. So I want it to go twice a day, so set it to every 12 hours. The duration is for the seconds that it's going to spray for. So I don't know yet. It's at 112. Oh no, 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 30, 60, 120. So you can have it going from anywhere really between 2 seconds and 2 minutes. I'll go for 16 seconds. And then you can control how much flows through the system there from just minimum to maximum. So I guess we need to plug it in to the mains. Good, I'm still alive. Turn it on. And press on, I guess. So, if you want to test the operation without waiting for your 12-hour cycle, you can set knob A, the cycle knob, to 0. Turn the unit on, and it's misting away. Which I'm going to fiddle about with the nozzles, but that's okay. It's fairly noisy, but it's not terrible, and that's straight onto a hard floor. I'll turn him off, and I'm going to have a little bit of a play about with the system. But first impressions are, I really like it. Great. So this is what we've come up with. We've moved the nozzles so they affix to the horizontal glass rather than the front vertical piece. Yeah, I have to say I'm impressed. Quite happy. I haven't had a misting system before, but yeah, looks good. The issues we've had with this, when it turned up, we left it in a box for a while, to be honest, before we got around to sorting it all out. And when we did, parts of it were wet. So we were a bit concerned that it might have been a return or something. We contacted Swell, they got back to us. They said they just test a lot of their stock before they send it out, which is fair enough, and I'm glad they have. Another issue, as I mentioned when we were setting it up, the nozzle's been stiff. We thought, can you adjust them? To be honest, I've put them back to where they were, I think. But yeah, you can adjust them. Just some were really stiff, and we put some pliers to them and they shifted. But we rung Swell first and they said, yeah, you know, they turn. Yeah, so really happy with their customer service as well. The nozzles on this only come with suckers to affix to glass surfaces, whereas I think on Swell's cheaper model, there's a kit to fix it through a mesh lid, so it could be handy on an Exo Terra. And also I think it comes with some extras like an elbow to do a right hand turn with the pipe work, and clips with suckers on to hold it to the side of the glass just to keep things tidier. I'm quite happy with how this is, but if we're going to extend this and use the other nozzles we've got in other Vivs, we're going to need to buy some other things, I think. Connectors, and to keep things tidy, make sure things aren't going at right angles, and rubbing and things like that. Quite happy as well with the noise level. Looking at other people's systems, I was expecting pretty horrendous noise from the pump. There is a noise, but it's a lot less than we were expecting. So overall, Swell deluxe, whatever, premium high pressure system sprayer, whatever this is called properly. The premium high pressure rainfall system from Swell Reptiles is the correct term. Gets a big thumbs up from us. We're really happy. Just hope the timer works going forwards, and yeah, great.